It has come to my attention that I play a lot of games, and because I play a lot of games, sometimes they kind of merge together in the old brainium, and as such, I have troubles remembering the titles of certain games I've played that I'd like to revisit. So I had this idea about making a monthly gaming diary where I will upload clips, thoughts, basic hints and tips, if required, of what I have played that month. I figure it might be a good idea, and also if y'all are watching this, you might actually find a game that you would also like to play that I have played. Man, I'm bad at intros. Okay, so first of all, we've got a game called Dead or School. It's a Metroidvania. All in all, really enjoyed this title. The English in it's kind of bad, but you generally know what it's trying to get across. The storyline's a bit cringe, like it's about humanity who's been forced underground, and your main character, Hisako, I think her name was, wants to make a school on the surface, so she leaves in a school uniform to fight the mutants to get back to the surface. The animation in the cutscenes is kind of awesome. Well, visually it looks awesome. The movement is a little strange, like it's almost like there's multiple still images that have been put on top of each other and then animated. I don't know how to explain that really, but the body horror on the bosses and the mutants, things like that, is pretty awesome, as you can see on screen. But yeah, the whole story, as you can see, there's robots as well. It was the humans had made these robot servants called dolls, abused them. There was this whole human robot war. The two sides decide to infect each other with viruses. So, you know, computer virus made monstrosities of the machines, and the humans became mutants. One thing about the game is the cringeworthy fan service, especially for this character called Eureka, as you can see. Good part about the game, again with the Metroidvania, you've got a main melee weapon, a secondary ranged weapon, and also a super weapon. I've found that the Saber, Assault Rifle, and Hellfire were the best weapons in the game easily. Also accessories increase your stats. You have an upgrade system, which is this chalkboard, again based on your melee, ranged, and super weapon. One thing I will say is 100% upgrade the windmill for the melee weapon soon as, because it is OP as fuck. But yeah, overall, absolutely love this game. The only real thing I could say to improve it would have been to zoom in the camera a little bit. It's quite far away from my liking. Like, I like my Metroidvanias to be a bit more close range, you know, at least like double this size. But that's like a tiny gripe, you get used to it. It's just when there's small things on the screen it gets a bit hard to see. The game's real bread and butter is the bosses. Like this one is the first boss you face. He goes through two stages, which is a red stage where he uses ranged attacks and a green stage where he uses close range attacks. Whilst he's changing, he's invincible, so you need to remember that. The game's got a dodge mechanic as well, which if you dodge just at the right time, the screen turns grey and slows down, and you get a chance to do some counter attacks and things like that. This boss is another new gimmick, which is like a 2.5D plane. And what I found cool with the bosses is there's usually several ways to beat them. Like this one, its weak spot is those giant pustules, I want to call them, which is on the actual main body, and you can use a ranged weapon to fire at it directly, or you can sort of avoid the lasers, attack the pods that come out of the ground, make the whole thing fall down like this, and then attack it with your with your melee weapon, not ranged weapon, unless a sword is used as range. Whatever. Yeah. So this boss, you have to get close to it. This is the sort of size that I would have liked the camera to be the whole time. Maybe not this angle, because as you can see it's a little bit diagonal, it looks a bit strange, almost like a Paper Mario type thing. But yeah, you've got to take down the power source, which brings down the shield, and you get a chance to attack it directly. So a lot of these bosses you just need to play multiple times, sometimes just to know how to attack, when to attack. Because another thing is you've got a stamina bar, which is the red bar underneath your health bar at the top. Doing things like your windmill, sword attack, shooting your gun, things like that makes the bar go down. You also have a weight limit to your items that you can equip, which goes up as you go up in level. If you exceed that weight, then you cannot attack, because your stamina bar will just be nothing. And this boss was cool as well. Like this one, you can only really attack from the back. You can attack from the front, but it does minimal damage. All in all, very fun game, even if the boss introductions do look like Smash Brothers introductions. New challenger approaches! Next up we have Brotato, which I don't really know how to explain it other than the fact it's like a twin stick shooter, except you only use the movement stick and the game auto fires or auto melees, depending on what weapons you have equipped. The whole idea of the game is unless you're doing the endless run, you go through 20 waves of enemies, you level up, you choose what skills you want to use, what weapons you want to upgrade, things like that. More than anything, I just class this game as like my dopamine game. Like I literally just play it, I don't have to think about it too much, but all of the pretty numbers come up and it's like, oh, there's the dopamine release into my brain right there, you know. But I found the way to get OP quickly in this game is when you level up, choose the stats of luck, harvesting, which drops more of those green orbs, which you use as money, and yeah, anything else. You've got 3 weapons in particular. I'd go with any loadout, which is the axe, the flint, and the scepter. The reasons why is because with those weapons, when you get a certain amount of kills with each one, for example, you get a certain amount of kills with the axe, it increases your attack damage. You get a certain amount of kills with the flint, it increases your attack speed. And with the scepter, it increases your health points. And with those stats, you just survive anything easily. So yeah, any character, just go for those weapons and you are golden, son or daughter. Oh, and also health regeneration is a good choice when harvesting and luck aren't available. Okay, next we have Zombies, Aliens, Guns. This game I thought was pretty cool. Like it's like a pixel art 2.5D twin stick shooter. And I have no idea what I just said, but I know for a fact that it's right. So yeah, the game's really fun. One thing I did find though is the game got super difficult about halfway through. But the main reason for this is I didn't really understand the way guns work in the game, where you've got 3 different types of ammo pickup. And if you pick up the same type of ammo 3 times, it upgrades that gun to maximum. And I was just switching between guns, like picking up ammo as and when I found it. Worst thing you can do. These levels, you actually have unlimited ammo, so you can just fire at will. Those alien enemies are complete cucks. I absolutely hate them. Throughout the entirety of the game, they were, to me, the bane of my existence. But yeah, so 100% you want to stick to one type of gun and only pick up that type of ammo. Throughout most of the game, after I found that out, I was just using the shotgun, and I thought, you know, there's zombies in the game, that'll be the best weapon. But then I got to this boss, and I realised I was doing an extremely low amount of damage. So I figured, let's try a different type of gun. And then I found the awesome gun, which is essentially just a heavy machine gun, I guess. It's these golden bullets you can find. You get 3 of those and you just absolutely own everything. Like, this UFO's health bar just started draining once I got that. It's got a bit of a spread to it, so if you can get close to boss enemies before using it, if you've got waves of enemies, so yeah, I just did close up of those bullets just to show my point a bit better. But yeah, if you get waves of enemies like this, you want to be at a distance and fire, because they're quite powerful bullets, and where the spread is, yeah, you're just guaranteed to wipe out that whole crowd easily. But bosses, get close, because then you hit them basically for 3 times damage with that spread. But yeah, all in all, I thought this game was really fun as well. Again, it was a cheap one on the marketplace. I figured, like, oh, it's not going to be too great, but it's something to turn my brain off to, and I ended up having a really good time with it. This was a little bit of a block in the road for me. This is actually the final boss of the game, but as I say, the game hasn't really got much of a storyline, so I don't really deem it as a spoiler. It's just, okay, there's a character model. Yeah, and that's the ending of the game, so you're really not missing out much by me spoiling that. Next we have Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, I was not expecting much with this, because as far as I'd heard, the newer Assassin's Creed games weren't that great. However, this game has actually become one of my favourite Assassin's Creed games. I loved it. And not just because it's set in England, so my home country, and not just because I recognise some of the places, despite it being set in the Industrial Revolution, but there were so many game mechanics that have been added to this that I just loved. Like, the counter mechanic is much improved from, like, Assassin's Creed 2, I think. That you've got a grapple gun, which is so fun to use for parkour and everything. I think that the parkour feels great in this game. Like, it's just so fun. And the level of freedom you have to do basically what you want to do is great. Some of the gripes I have, though, to fully sync your memories, there's side objectives to the missions, and some of them are kind of ass. But I thought the story in itself was fun. Jacob and Evie Fry as protagonists were great. This footage that's playing now is just me throwing dudes out of a window, because, as I say, the level of freedom you have in this game is great. So yeah, Jacob and Evie Fry, they're twins, both assassins. Evie's missions focus on retrieving a piece of Eden, and Jacob's missions focus on a revolution in London, basically helping the underprivileged. So there's like child labour going on, and you can free them and kill the child labourers. there's a lot of corruption with the Templars, so he uses has assassination missions for them. What's playing right now is one of my favourite new additions to this Assassin's Creed, and you get unique kills for certain targets, which you can get set up. I feel like they were inspired a bit by the game Hitman with this, but oh man, I just love this shit. Like, because with the previous ones, it was like, oh yeah, you would take down the target by like your hidden blade, gun, whatever. But this was like a cutscene, like additional cutscenes for them, and I just love them basically. What else have I got to say? Oh yeah, so you have these new kills where if you daze several enemies at once, say 2, 3, or 4, you do these unique group kills, which look infinitely stylish. So the one I've just shown is Jacob killing 2 in one. Next up, I'm just going to show another new addition, which is these brawls that you can do. And this is Evie taking out 4 guys at once, which is just badass. And speaking about the brawls, it gave me one of the best glitches I've ever caught on camera. And yeah, altogether this game absolutely rocks, even if it totally did me dirty here.
Oh, Desmond and Mr. Fry, I'd like you to meet... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
John the Tosser.
Charmed.
Also, one negative I will say about the game, and this is only a small gripe and really only affects achievement/trophy hunters, but there's one trophy/achievement for colliding with several thousand items whilst driving a vehicle, and that shit just takes forever, man. Also, I will say, like, with Jacob, he is absolutely one of my favourite protagonists in the game. Like, I just love his dry English wit. It's incredible.
Now then, let's discuss this like... Good God! Who the bloody hell?
Oh, shut up.
Farewell. Farewell, dear Britannia. Your dawn shall be dimmer that the Earl of Cardigan sees it not. God save the Queen and the 11th Hussars.
What a prick. I'm here to see Mr. Roth.
Weapons?
No, thank you. I've got my own.
You should be on the stage, sir. This way.
And playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate made me want to replay Assassin's Creed 2, which gave us this famous meme.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!
Uncle Mario?
So when you see the opening cutscene and it's just so high adrenaline and you're just like, ah yeah, this is Assassin's Creed that I remember 100%. And then you revisit it and it is, yeah, the pace kind of lacks from that intro cutscene a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm going to criticise, but Assassin's Creed 2 is still an amazing game, especially for when it released. But revisiting it now, after, like, obviously, you know, others have come out, like, the parkour does not feel good. It's slow, it feels like it fights you quite a lot. But saying about pace as well, I've literally doubled the speed here just to show how bad it is. But there is so much following in this game. Like, I've clipped 6 instances here, but there's more than that. And every time it just takes forever to follow them. Like, it's that annoying game trope where they move faster than your slowest walking pace, but they move slower than your run speed. It's annoying. The amount of times with these challenges where it did fixed camera angles like that just completely throws off the flow and pace of the parkour. And there was so many times when I was like pressing a certain direction, it went in completely different direction. I tried to correct it, and then it just sent me way off course. And it was just like, really? Come on, Assassin's Creed 2. I remembered you was better than this. That being said, though, I will still say Ezio is 100% still my favourite protagonist.
Requiescat in pace, you bastard.
The storyline is fantastic. Honestly, one of the best, if not the best, in the Assassin's Creed whatever we're up to ology. But yeah, there was just these little things that I totally forgot about. But I will say, again, the cinematic cutscenes, like the one right at the start of the game, like this one here, fantastic. Like, the graphics are so good. But then in the in-game cutscenes, they use the in-game engine, and sometimes the faces are a little off-looking. But with a little editing, you can make it the stuff of nightmares, like so. One more correlation I will make between this and Syndicate was that although the combat in this like has enough animations that it keeps you entertained for a while, again, there's a lot of waiting, and it just didn't feel as like free flow and fun as Syndicate did. So by the end of the game, I just found that I was running past guards instead of like fighting them, because I just, for lack of a better term, I couldn't be bothered at that point, which obviously is a downside. And I wouldn't be talking about Assassin's Creed 2 without mentioning the feathers, which are just such an annoying collectible. And there's guides online, but I'm an idiot and I just decide to look for them myself instead. Just like the music boxes in Syndicate, which again was annoying. Also, I totally forgot to mention that this Assassin's Creed was from the era when the modern day parts of Assassin's Creed were actually good, which was one of the gripes I had with Syndicate that I forgot to mention. The modern day bits in that game. In this game, though, dry British humour again. I've got to love it. I think his name's Sean, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, here's some of my favourite bits with him.
Yeah, she tried to warn me, told me I was messing with the wrong kind of people.
And what did you do?
I thought you were mental.
But now you know better.
Yep, now I know you're just a bit mental.
We offered him a place with us.
Yes, you did, yeah. The alternative? A life on the run from the most powerful organization on the planet. I decided to prolong my life. I'm eccentric like that.
If they find even one of those pieces, we're gonna have problems.
Oh, you're picking up on that, are you?
I gotta say, after all the crap I went through at Abstergo, it's nice to be with the good guys.
Good guys? Let's not get carried away.
What's that supposed to mean?
In case you've forgotten, Rebecca, we're assassins. I can look it up for you if you like. Basically, it means we assassinate people.
And with that, that's all of my games for May 2024. And the next one will be June, so I will see you then. And I will leave you with this following Assassin's Creed 2 meme that I pooped together. Yeah.
Self-expression is vital to understanding and enjoying life. You should find an outlet.
I have plenty of outlets.
I meant besides vaginas.
Mother.
Take him from behind!